The sun had barely risen over New York City when Amara slipped through the grand lobby of the five-star hotel, blending into the shadows like she always did. Clad in her neatly pressed maid's uniform, she pushed her cart through the penthouse hallway, her steps soft, her movements efficient. To most guests, she was just another worker, polite, forgettable, invisible. But there was more to Amara than met the eye. Behind her quiet smile and weary eyes lived a brilliant mind and a soul that once dared to dream. Years ago, in a small apartment in Amsterdam, Amara was a top student, fluent in 5 languages, passionate about global affairs, and determined to become a translator for the United Nations. She saw herself walking through marble halls, bridging cultures, making peace with words. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Her mother's illness struck like lightning, sudden and merciless. The family savings disappeared into hospital bills, and Amara, just 20 at the time, made a choice. Dreams could wait, family could not. She left it all behind and moved to New York, taking the first job she could find. For 5 years, she scrubbed floors and fluffed pillows in silence, sending every dollar she could back home to help her siblings stay in school. She never complained. But each morning, as she watched the skyline glow through floor-to-ceiling windows she couldn't afford to touch, a quiet ache stirred inside her. Nobody knew who she truly was. Not the guests, not her co-workers. Just a maid, until one day, something unexpected happened in that very hallway, something that would pull the curtain back on her hidden brilliance and change her life forever. But for now, she moved quietly, unaware that destiny was just around the corner. Amara was finishing up the final touches in one of the grandest suites of the hotel, the kind that cost more per night than she earned in months. She moved with grace and purpose, placing a crisp white towel just right when her phone buzzed softly in her pocket. She rarely took personal calls on shift, but the contact name flashing on the screen made her heart skip. Leave Zusch, her little sister. She stepped into the quiet hallway and answered quickly, her voice low but fluid. Hello, Schat, rustig maar, ik ben voor je. The Dutch rolled off her tongue with effortless precision, warm, melodic, comforting. On the other end, her sister's tearful voice slowly calmed as Amara soothed her, promising everything would be okay. For that brief moment, she wasn't just a hotel maid. She was a big sister, a mentor, a protector. What Amara didn't know was that someone had heard her. Just a few feet away, leaning silently near the suite's entrance, stood a tall, distinguished man in a tailored suit. Silver at his temples, eyes sharp with curiosity, Mr. Van Dalen, the elusive Dutch billionaire whose name stirred whispers among the hotel staff. He hadn't spoken to anyone since his arrival. Until now. As Amara ended the call and turned, slightly startled to see him there, he studied her with an intensity that was neither rude nor invasive, just surprised. Then, with a slight smile and a raised brow, he said only 3 words. We ben Jig? Who are you? Amara blinked, caught between fear and confusion, unaware that this single moment, this overheard call, was about to change everything. Later that afternoon, Amara sat stiffly at a quiet corner table in the hotel cafe, her apron folded neatly on her lap. The luxurious space felt worlds away from the laundry rooms and cleaning carts she was used to. Across from her sat Mr. Van Dalen, elegant yet disarming, sipping his espresso with a curiosity that seemed unusually personal. I don't mean to intrude, he began gently, but your Dutch was flawless, refined. That isn't something one learns casually. Amara hesitated. She had spent years hiding her story, keeping her past tucked away like an old photograph. But something about the way he asked, not with judgment, but with genuine interest, made her lower her guard. I studied linguistics at the University of Amsterdam, she said quietly. My goal was to work at the United Nations. I love languages, the way they connect people. I spoke 7, at one point. Mr. Van Dalen's brow lifted slightly, but he said nothing, just listened. But then, my mother got sick, she continued. There were no savings. I was the oldest. I left school, moved here, started working. My siblings needed school fees, medicine, rent. I figured my dreams could wait. Her voice didn't crack, but her eyes shimmered with the weight of everything she had buried. Mr. Van Dalen leaned back, silent for a long moment, clearly moved. You chose duty over ambition, he said finally. Most wouldn't. That's not weakness, Miss Amara. That's strength few understand. She offered a small, almost embarrassed smile. She wasn't used to being seen. And for the first time in years, someone did. Not as a maid. Not as a worker. But as a remarkable woman who had given up everything, for love. That evening, as Amara was folding towels in the service room, her name crackled over the staff intercom. Amara, please report to the manager's office. Her heart sank. Had she done something wrong? She smoothed her uniform and walked down the quiet hallway, each step echoing louder in her chest. When she entered, the hotel manager gave her a strange look, equal parts surprise and awe. He slid a cream-colored envelope across the desk. A guest left this for you, he said. Mr. Van Dalen. Confused, Amara opened the envelope with trembling fingers. Inside, she found a thick packet of documents and a handwritten note on elegant stationery. _ to Miss Amara. Your story moved me more than you know. Enclosed is a full scholarship to the International Institute of Languages in Geneva, fully covered, no repayment. You'll also find details for a paid internship at Van Dalen Global Communications in Zurich. You answered the world with grace. Now let it answer you back. Van Dalen _. The words blurred as tears filled Amara's eyes. Her hands trembled as she clutched the letter to her chest. For years, she had given everything without expecting anything in return. And now, someone had seen her, not just her work, but her worth. Her voice broke as she whispered, he remembered. In that small office, under flickering fluorescent lights, Amara's world shifted. The girl who had buried her dreams to raise others would now rise, not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever been overlooked, dismissed, or forgotten. And all it took, was one act of listening. The cool wind kissed her face as Amara stepped off the plane at Amsterdam Airport, the air carrying a familiar scent she hadn't breathed in for years, home. Her footsteps echoed softly in the terminal, not hurried or heavy, but steady, purposeful. In one hand she pulled a modest suitcase, in the other, she held a worn photo of her mother and siblings, creased from years of folding, but loved beyond words. She paused for a moment, standing still amidst the bustle of travelers, and looked at the photo. Her mother's gentle smile stared back at her, a silent reminder of all the sacrifices that had brought her here. Tears welled up, not of sadness, but of quiet triumph. No cleaning cart. No uniform. No burden too heavy to bear alone. Today, she walked not as someone running from her past, but toward a future she had long put on hold. Just months ago, she was scrubbing bathrooms in silence, her brilliance hidden beneath layers of fatigue. But now, she was here. On a full scholarship to one of the world's top language academies, with a dream reignited and a door wide open. As the glass doors slid open and the city welcomed her back, Amara smiled, not the polite, tired smile of someone surviving, but the radiant smile of someone becoming. The world had finally seen her. Not because she demanded it, but because she stayed kind, graceful, and true, even when no one was watching. Now it was her time. And she was ready to rise. In a world that often overlooks the quiet heroes, Amara's story is a powerful reminder that true greatness doesn't always wear a title or sit behind a desk. Sometimes, it walks silently through hotel hallways, carrying a heavy heart and a selfless spirit. Her journey, from an invisible maid to a woman rediscovered and uplifted, shows us that compassion still matters, that listening can change lives, and that buried dreams can rise again when seen through the eyes of someone who truly notices. What began as an ordinary moment, a phone call in a hallway, became the spark that reignited a life's purpose. Amara didn't ask for recognition. She gave without expectation. And because of that, the universe answered her back through the kindness of a stranger who chose to care. This is not just Amara's story. It's the story of anyone who has ever put others first, who has ever dimmed their own light to help someone else shine. It's proof that the smallest act, a language spoken, a story shared, a door opened, can transform everything. In the end, Amara didn't just find her way back to her dream. She became a symbol of hope, for all who feel unseen, unheard, or forgotten. Her life is no longer a quiet sacrifice, but a rising testament to what's possible when grace meets opportunity. And as she walks into her future with her heart full and her purpose clear, we are left with one undeniable truth. Kindness is never wasted. And the world is always watching, sometimes, just waiting to lift you higher.